I recently turned 28 years old and I thought it'd be quite fitting to make a video about the things that I've been thinking about lately. And that is all the things I wish I knew at 18 that I know right now at 28. I feel like I've learned a fair few things on my time on Earth. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a bloody young man, but I certainly have a lot more knowledge and wisdom than I did back then. So let's not waste any time and let's just get immediately to the list. It may not be your fault, but it is your problem. Things are going to happen, things are going to pop up, and there are going to be things just simply out of your control. And the sooner you learn that you can't fucking control everything in life, the easier and more enjoyable life becomes. And also, for example, if somebody goes into you on your way into work, that may not exactly be your fault, but it becomes your problem. So the faster you deal with it, the better for you. No one is coming to save you. The reality is that you have to get it done. You've got to get it done yourself. You've got to go places yourself. You've got to call places yourself. You must sort it out. People are not going to do it for you. People are not going to hold your hand. You know, individuals and corporations and business, whatever, they might offer guidance and help. Some will do it for you for money, but majority of things in life, you just simply have to do yourself. If you fuck up, well, guess what? You're going to be the one that's going to be paying for that mistake. And you're going to be the one that's going to climb yourself out of that hole. So the faster you realize that no one is going to come and save you, the easier and better for you. Because at the end of the day, no one owes you anything. So you just have to do it and figure it out yourself. Stop trying to control things you can't change. People moan about the weather all the time. People moan about the person that's driving really slowly in front of them all the time. People moan about the fact that I've got a small selection of foods available all the time. Well, most of those things just simply cannot be controlled. And also, the people that moan about the weather, funnily enough, they get up from a house that they have, by the way. Some people don't even have that luxury. They get into the car, which some people, once again, do not have that kind of luxury, to drive to work, where they sit in an office, to drive back home, to sit inside a car. If you complain about the weather, and that's your day-to-day, you have nothing to complain about. You're going to be outside in it for 45 seconds, and you are literally letting something that doesn't actually do anything to you or your day, it doesn't affect you in any negative way, and doesn't have any impact on you, to quite literally derail your mood. So next time you complain about something that simply cannot be helped, just think twice before you do, because you are literally ruining your own mood for no reason whatsoever. Confidence opens more doors than knowledge ever will. You can walk into a room, chest high, confidence in your voice, in your posture, your body language, making friends, being charismatic, and the matter of fact is you could be average at the thing that you actually do or offer. But because you're so likable, it's because people are gravitated towards you. People enjoy your character. More people are going to be willing to work with you and speak to you and give you more chances. Because you could be an absolute genius. But if your confidence isn't there and you're quite shy and timid and you don't really want to talk to people, well then, who do you think they are going to pick? Unfortunately, being an expert sometimes isn't enough. Sometimes your charisma and your character will get you much further than anything else ever will. People know what they are doing. And what does that mean? Well, exactly what it says on the tin. If someone is ignoring you, they're doing it on purpose because they quite literally want to. Everybody has the phone on them all the time. If they wanted to reply to you, they would. If somebody puts you in an unfavorable position, if somebody doesn't invite you, if somebody says a nasty comment, funnily enough, all of those things are done consciously and they have full control over that. They choose to do those things. They all know what they are doing. So stop letting people get away with so much shit that they throw your way, because most of the time it is just not worth it, and it's just not worth your mental health and your energy. Honestly, just avoid it. People put you in crappy positions all the time. People always say nasty stuff. Just drop them, because they're not doing it just because they aren't feeling well. They aren't doing it because this or that. No, they know what they are doing. I could be having a terrible day, but that doesn't mean I'm going to take it out on others. So think about that next time. If you don't ask, you don't get. Pretty fucking simple. I know it's quite difficult to sometimes just ask because it's not just a matter of just walking up. There's a lot of internal battles that go up here, you know, especially if you're a young guy asking for a girl's number, if you're asking your boss for a promotion or a pay rise, if you're asking someone you really respect to work with them on a project that they're on right now. Those things take courage. So it's not, I understand it's not simple. Sorry, it is not easy, but it is simple. However, somebody could be half as skilled as you. Somebody could be crap, in fact. But if they go ask for whatever it is that they ask for, that you also want, simply by the fact that they've actually asked the question, they might get it. And they might just claim your spot. So put the ego aside, just go for it and see what happens, because the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to be back in the exact same position you're in right now. So just ask, okay? You never know what might happen. Learn to say no more often. I swear to God, people love people pleasing more than anything else in this world. They always have to say yes. They always have to be liked. They always need to be the most favored person in the room. Well, guess what? People don't care as much as you think. Matter of fact is, I refuse things all the time because I am bloody busy. I work a full-time job. I go to the gym. I do social media. I do YouTube. I upload 2 main videos a week. I upload 15 to 20 shorts on YouTube and across all of our social medias. I have a lot to do. And that doesn't involve my normal day-to-day stuff as well. So I say no to plans and people all the fucking time. Am I still friends with them? Yes, I am. Do those still people work with me? Yes, they do. People don't care if you tell them no, if you actually have a valid reason. If you just flake on them, or you do it when you're actually most needed because you just simply can't be asked, well, yeah, you're probably going to piss some people off. But if people can see that you're actually doing something, if you can prove to those people that you actually are busy and you don't have the time, well, trust me, saying no will never hurt you. And to be honest, now that I think about it, sometimes you don't even have to prove shit, because it is your character that actually matters the most. So they're going to base your answer of no on all your previous interactions. Do whatever you want, because literally nobody cares. The fear of judgment used to absolutely destroy me. It would eat away at me internally. I would always be so worried about how I spoke, how I looked, what I did, how I said things, and it killed me. Now, I couldn't care less. And I can tell you now, I am much happier because of it. Don't get me wrong, all of those things I mentioned, have I improved on them over the years? Absolutely. Yes, I have. I feel like everybody should. However, I have also started many things over the years. And I didn't care how it came out. I didn't care what people thought. I just did it. And then I did it again and again and again. And it just gets better, because everyone starts somewhere, right? Everyone's gonna have their own level. But then the more times you try, well, then the only time is gonna get up and up and up. And eventually people are gonna be asking you how you do those things. It just happens. So stop caring so much, go for it, do what you want, as long as nothing weird or hurting others, obviously. Then do whatever you please, all right? And stop worrying about others' opinions. People probably don't even care what you're doing anyway. Sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. A lot of people always say, oh, I'll do it later, or I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. No, just do it now. Majority of things can be done on the day or within the day. Of course, if you need to move your house because you've just bought a new one, you probably can't do that in a day. Fair enough. But that's one of the very, very few exceptions out there. Majority of things, cleaning your house, doing the bed, taking out the rubbish, editing a video, recording a video, starting on your essay, going to the gym, doing a food shop. All these things can be done today. You don't have to wait until later or tomorrow. And once you do it, you are going to feel better. That's just facts. Every single time you do something, you just feel better. You feel more accomplished, you feel more energized. And you actually feel like when you do sit down or go to sleep, you feel like you've actually earned it. I can't remember who mentioned this, but I remember seeing a full video on it, full breakdown, and there's studies behind this. So if you want to go and have a look, check it out. And it's basically just how all around running chores and doing things just makes you feel better and puts you in a better mood. The more you care about other people's opinions, the more miserable you'll be. So many people do things just to be seen positively by others, the public, their friends, the family, their work colleagues. And most of the time, they don't even want to do the things that they fucking do all the time. They just do them because they want the appraisal, they want the validation. But appraisal and validation isn't going to get you nice things in life, isn't going to land you a promotion, isn't going to pay for your mortgage. Those things simply do not matter. Because you could be disliked, but if you do a fucking good job at something, you're still going to get clients. You're still going to get asked to do something. People are going to turn to you for advice. It's all about what you bring to the table. Of course, if you're liked, then that probably has a correlation. And obviously, I know there's an argument to this, but overall, you don't need to please everybody, okay? Because the matter of fact is, you can't anyway. You're going to absolutely exhaust yourself trying to please everyone in the room. Be yourself, and the people who actually like you will gravitate towards you, and that's just that. You don't need to please everybody. Just because something is hard, it doesn't mean that it's worth it. Certain things in life are going to be soul crushing. They're going to put you through so much stuff. They're going to mentally torture you, but in the end, they may not be worth it. One of the things that immediately comes to mind is toxic relationships. They are going to take 110% of everything that you can give. And in the end, doing so will not get you anything. It's only going to end up with you with a broken heart, a damaged mind, and just feeling terrible. Something like going to the gym or training for a marathon. Well, those things can be hard, right? But in the end, they're going to be worth it. So just choose your hard things wisely, okay? Use time blocks to become more productive. When I was younger, I didn't really quite care or look at time management all that much, but the older I get, the more important it is, because the things that are going to be on your mind are just only going to get more and more and more. Not for me personally, but especially if you have children. Your to-do list is going to be through the roof. So your time simply becomes less. So the less time you have, the more efficient you have to become with it. Because I know there are a lot of people out there who have a lot going on, including having kids or not, and have made it very far in life and are doing pretty damn well for themselves. Why is that? It's because they use some sort of time management technique. For me personally, something like time blocking actually works the best. Just pick a chunk of time, dedicate it purely to doing the things that you want to do. So this could be university work, this could be working on your own social media project, this could be working on your own website stuff, this could be doing art commissions. Whatever it may be, just dedicate a chunk of time from your day or the week, however you can manage it, because the time is there. Trust me. Look at your phone time, and if it's more than 2 hours, you've got time. You're just choosing it differently. Time block to be a little bit more time efficient. Consistency negates luck. The more times you try, the more of a chance you have of it working. It's plain and simple as that. If you try something once, it may or may not work. If you try it again, it may or may not work. But if you try again and again and again and again and again, eventually it will. Depending on what we're talking about here, obviously, because if you ask for a girl's number and she says no, I'd just leave it there. But if you're talking about business or learning a new skill like a backflip, try it over and over and over again. And eventually, you're going to get it. You're going to land the backflip. You're going to create a product that hits. You're going to post a post that goes viral. It comes. But that shit takes time. And that takes a lot of consistency. So just try it again and again, because the more times you try, the less luck you need. Action creates clarity. This is probably one of my favorite ones, because whenever you feel stuck, just do something. And I mean anything. It doesn't even have to be something to do with the fact what you're working on right now. For example, with me doing YouTube and social media and trying to coach others to become the best version of themselves, and also creating productivity products for my business. Some days I feel stuck and I'm like, what do I even do? I have no idea. So then just do something simple. Tidy the house, go for a walk, hit the gym, go for a run. Pick something that's productive and then just do it. Chances are, after doing it, you're going to clear your mind, you're going to start thinking fresh, or during the thing, whatever it is that you decide to do, you have an idea pop into your head. If you want, You can even pause the activity halfway through, write it down on your phone, in a notebook, whatever, and then just come back to it later. Because you're just stuck mentally, right? Now you've just unstuck yourself by doing something. But the more times you try, the more things that you do, the clearer your mind becomes. And this also works if you don't do anything in particular, like a business, or if you don't have like some sort of side hobby, but you want one, but you're not sure what. Well, then just try everything, anything and everything you can think of. Just try it, because chances are, if you do something and it clicks, you're going to want to do it again. But if you try something and it doesn't really quite hit the spot, well, then just don't bother. Just leave it and try something else. And eventually you'll find something you really, really enjoy. Reading 10 pages a day equates to 3,650 pages in a year, which is probably between 8 to 12 books, depending on size, of course. Me personally, I've always been shite at reading. I've always liked the idea. I've always enjoyed consuming knowledge, but I always struggle to concentrate reading. So I just made it as simple as I possibly can to myself. Read 10 pages every day, and that's it. Thanks to that, I have managed to get through so much material in comparison to last 5 years. And to be honest, I suppose the whole idea of doing something more often and more often makes you enjoy it more. And now I generally do like reading. I look forward to the 10 pages I do every single day before bed, because I feel like that's the most fitting time for me. Of course, you might pick to do it on your lunch break. Maybe you'll do it in the morning before work. But the idea is that you just set yourself a small amount of pages that is very manageable and easy for you to do daily. And if your goal is to read more, I fucking guarantee you this works. This will work. Just try your absolute best to not miss any more than one day in a row. Sometimes life gets mad, and sometimes we simply cannot do something every single day. Understandable, but never miss 2 days. Read more books. Treat people the same way they treat you. You'd be surprised at just how people react when you give them the cheek or give them the shitty responses that they give to you. They will not like it, but it gives them a nice little reality check of what it is and how they're like. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to say, well, I'm just behaving the way you do. But if someone's nice to you, be nice back. If someone's a dick, be a dick. If you simply choose to not react or respond, that's also completely fair. That's my preferred method, because I couldn't really care less, if I'm honest. But if you want, just give people the same energy they give you, and watch just how quickly they're going to get all defensive because you're acting out of line or you're saying things you shouldn't be. Well, that's exactly what they're doing. Sometimes people need a little reality check. Focus on what people do rather than what they say, because there are plenty of people out there who sing and praise all this, that, and the other, but actually they don't do anything. They just lie, and they just talk bullshit majority of the day. But there are also people who are extremely quiet, who simply get their head down and get shit done. Or, if you ever need them, they're there. Focus on people's actions, not their words, because people can say whatever they want, but it's what they do that actually truly matters. Whether this is business, relationships, or friendships, action is the determining factor of how you should treat them, and essentially what kind of position you allow those individuals in your life. Create to-do lists. Sounds bloody boring, I know. But like I said earlier, the older you get, the more shit you just have on your mind, the more things you have to do on a daily basis. And sometimes just being able to formulate all those thoughts, whether it's onto paper or digital, something like on your phone or your laptop, is simply going to help you. Because also, a lot of people think they do more in the day than they actually do. Because people will lose a lot of time just simply talking or sitting on social media without ever actually realizing it. So if you set yourself a to-do list and you actually consistently get through all or most of your tasks on a day-to-day, you're going to see that you're going to have less time for fucking chit-chat and sitting on Instagram. So create to-do lists and get through them. And I can guarantee you now, you will become a lot more efficient with your day and your time. Being yourself makes genuine people gravitate towards you. Honestly, I believe that more than anything. Because if you decide to be persona A, okay, people are going to be attracted to that fake persona. So that means when you slip up, or if you start to change, people's opinions will change. Because in their eyes, you've changed. But when you're yourself, you're not going to slip up, are you? Because that's just who you are. Obviously, you're going to have days where you're fucking sad or angry or whatever. That's normal. But keeping up a persona is bloody hard work. And you're going to make mistakes. You're going to slip up. You're going to have to constantly think about, oh, how did I act here? What did I say there? This, that, and the other. When you're yourself, you can just be genuine kind of person that you are. Well, people that actually like you for you are going to show up in your life. So stop trying to be fake. Stop trying to be someone that you're not, and just be yourself. Because life becomes a lot more simple when you're just simply who you are. Write it down so you don't forget, okay? You have your phone in your pocket all the fucking time, and every single phone comes with some sort of notes app, unless you've got like a Nokia 3310, which I don't know many people that do. So just simply write it down, because you're probably going to have a lot of ideas throughout the day, or certain things will just pop into your mind. Maybe you think, oh shit, I need to take the bins out later. Well, then write it down, or set yourself an alarm, or put it in your calendar. Your phone is there to help. Notebooks are there to help. People haven't created those things just so they can sit there looking pretty. They're there for a reason. So write it down before you forget. Me personally, I've got shite memory. I've got plenty of alarms throughout the entire day to remind me of the things that I need to do. As soon as something pops up, I immediately go to my calendar app and I put it in. And yes, I still forget certain things, but the only time I don't actually remember is when it's not written down or it's in my calendar. If I just think about it, eventually I'm going to stop thinking about it. So utilize what you have and write it down. Do what you love and not what's expected of you. Matter of fact is that time on this earth is limited. And if you constantly do what other people want you to do or think you should be doing, you are going to be bloody miserable. I can tell you that for free. So the more you focus on doing the things that you actually enjoy, the more you're going to enjoy life and just the mundane and just the everyday. People overlook at just how much of a boost it can be to your mood by doing something that you enjoy every day or most days. And this can be whatever it is that you like. For me, I need to have some gaming time every so often. Just to switch my brain off, stop thinking about work, stop thinking about social media, stop thinking about my fucking macros, stop thinking about all the business things I need to get done, and just focus on, I don't know, shooting aliens in the head. That's what I need. Of course, I pair it with plenty of other things that I also need, such as eating well, the gym, looking after myself, and whatever else. But just focus on what you enjoy. Just because someone said running is healthy, it doesn't mean you have to become a runner. You can go and fucking play badminton if you want. The choice is yours. Being a perfectionist is basically saying that you're a procrastinator. This is one of my favorites because I used to be a perfectionist. I used to want to make sure everything is so mwah before I published it or I released it to the public. When in reality, that just made me slow down. It made things not as good as they could be, and also made me pretty miserable. Because if someone makes 50 pieces of content in the same time where someone makes 8, the person who's made 50, I guarantee you, the 35th or maybe the 40th piece of content onwards, every single one of those pieces then is going to be so much better than all of those perfect pieces of content that the person that only made 8 has. I know for a fact that the more you try and the more you do, the better things get. So stop trying to be a perfectionist, because nothing in life is or ever will be perfect. That's just not real. And just let it out into the world, or just get it done. It is much better to produce what you perceive a 7 out of 10 than a 0 because you still haven't even finished it yet because you don't think it is perfect. Giving chances will cost you a lot more than you realize. People are just too quick to forget. People are too easy to forgive. But in reality, people knew what they were doing. If someone generally messed up, fair enough. I suppose you can give them another chance. You can forgive them if you want. But if they do it again, well, maybe it's time to reevaluate what it is that you do next. But don't give many chances in life. because people do know what they are doing. Look after yourself. Tidy your room. And no, I am not trying to sound like your father here. I am generally just telling you something that I actually read in a book by Jordan Peterson. And the whole tidy your room thing actually just simply means to tidy the space that you use. Because when your space is nice and it's tidy and it's looked after, it has a mental effect on you. You feel it. You can think clearer, you can think better, and you feel better being in that space. So if you have like something like a office in the house or a creative space in the house, make sure it is as clean as possible, because it will help you in the long run. If you don't and you're not bothered, once again, fair enough, but then just make sure that every single room is spotless, because it's going to make you feel that much better, or at the very least, the room you spend the most time in your house. Bad days hurt you more than good days actually do for you. So of course, consistency is very important. But one of the examples that I've seen is, for example, you've got £100 and you manage to make 50 quid. That's a 50% increase as to what you originally had, okay? So now when you think about having a bad day, you only actually need to go down by 33% to be back to square one. You've worked hard here. You've worked and you managed to scrape up 50 quid extra. So now you went from 100 to 150. But you've had a bad day because you slacked off and you couldn't be bothered. And you've lost 33% of what you had. That means you lost £50 because that's 1/3 of that total. So you're back to where you were before. You can actually put yourself in a good mood by just being grateful. A lot of people out there don't have what you would call daily essentials. A roof over your head, a nice warm meal, the mobile phone that you're watching this on right now. Some people don't have those luxuries. To you, they're just standard, they're just the norm. And in most societies, yes, they are, technically. However, some people are going through things. Some people have had things happen to them. Some people are in unfortunate countries where there's, let's just say, conflict. And they no longer have those things. And you're sat there crying about the fact that it's raining, when you have all these wonderful things that you simply take for granted. You can get ahead of 99% of people by simply trying, because most people don't actually try. You will realize that. The older you get, you realize that you're not actually as far behind as you think. You are simply so used to seeing people on TV and on your phone doing well, when in reality, when you look around you, when you look at the people in your office, your workplace, the areas you frequently visit, they're just normal people, just like me and you, doing their thing and just trying. Well, some are. So don't get discouraged and just have a go, because just by simply having a go, you are already ahead of your competition. Resilience is the amount of time that it takes you to get back to your functional state. So for example, something happens and you get a little bit annoyed. How resilient you are simply means how quickly can you return to your baseline so you can make logical, non-emotional decisions again. Working on your resilience is going to save you a whole lot of trouble and a lot of stupid decisions. I know way too many guys out there that have acted in the heat of the moment because they simply couldn't control their anger, because they wanted to be the man or they wanted to fucking prove a point, and are either no longer here or in prison. Control your emotions. Get back to that state zero. Get back to your baseline and then make a decision. Trust me, this one is going to save you a lot more times than you realize. So I hope at least one of those things was useful to you. They definitely were to me as I've been getting older and gaining all this old man wisdom. They have helped me out. And these are just not all, but majority of the things that I reflect back on and I look at pretty frequently. I like to live by, a set of rules. I don't like to be here, there and everywhere. That may be boring to you, but I like stability and I like predictability. And these 28 things are what help me with a lot of that. As always, I wish you the best of luck and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.